Watch to the very end of this video. I have a question and I want you to put your answer in the comments. Damon Albarn slams the Rolling Stones and their new music. I'm going to talk about an interview that Damon Albarn gave recently about the Rolling Stones' new album, Hackney Diamonds. Now, Damon Albarn, unquestionably a talented guy. I used to listen to Blur, Oasis, Pulp, Suede. With Blur, Modern Life is Rubbish, Park Life I still hold right up here. You guys will remember when I did the Plastic Beach reaction. Gorillaz, his kind of self-titled stuff. He has talent. But in interviews, he comes across as a bit of a prick. Is there anything wrong with being a bit of a prick? Some of my favourite artists of all time were pricks. I myself have been accused occasionally of being a bit of a prick. But in any case, in my humble opinion, a little bit of a prick. He had specific objections to the objectification of women when it comes to the Rolling Stones' recent video for their song Angry. He said that Sydney Sweeney had been objectified. This is coming from a man who was involved with a video for the Blur song Country House. Now, I'm sure Damon would say that there was an element of sarcasm or irony in that Country House video, but you did have scantily clad women running around the place, Benny Hill style. I haven't watched that video for years, but I can still remember it. Directed by Damien Hirst, I believe. I don't know. In interviews, Damon always comes across as so earnest. I just found it funny that the guy in that video for Country House is talking about the objectification of women. He goes on in this recent interview to criticise the Rolling Stones for the Hackney Diamonds album, where they turned up in Hackney, which is a part of London, to promote that album. Now, I have sympathy with him here. He says, Damon that is, that his family lives in Hackney and that the Rolling Stones have contributed nothing to Hackney, and then they call their album Hackney Diamonds and they turn up there with all the gusto and all the bling and milk it for all it's worth. Yeah, I didn't see that promotion for myself, but if that's true, then Damon has a fair point, and on this occasion has right on his side. But anyway, now into the meat of the argument. Damon insists that he's done all sorts of things in his career, but the Rolling Stones have never been anything other than the Rolling Stones. Damon says the Stones trot out the same old hits year upon year. Mick Jagger on stage at the age of 80, banging out, "I can't get no satisfaction." Damon says there must be no joy doing what they do. It got me thinking, a band full of multi-millionaires playing hits dating back to the 60s that the whole music-loving world has enjoyed. You've got money in your pocket, you get to go on stage and play songs that are bona fide works of rock and roll art. The demographic for this channel is teenagers. So for you, the Rolling Stones are a band dating back to the 60s. They were around at the same time as the Beatles. They've been going ever since, and they still have the two leading band members, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards. This is an important band, perhaps the most important rock band of all time, the longest standing rock band of all time. However, the primary argument here is being an artist that's eclectic and constantly moving forwards versus knowing who you are and knowing what you want to do. Let's just talk about some examples of both. Those with that eclectic artistic spirit, constantly striving for forward momentum, pushing things forward. The Beatles, kind of, in a 7-year period. Radiohead, David Bowie, Bjork, Miles Davis, versus, like I said, knowing who you are and doing what you do. AC/DC, Alice Cooper, Iron Maiden, the Rolling Stones, Travis Scott. My favourite example of that eclectic artistic spirit, I'm going to say the Beatles. My favourite example of that know who you are and do what you do, Iron Maiden. That's the two. What I want you to do down below in the comments section is put your favourite examples. One for an artist that evolves over time, where every album sounds different, going from jazz to hip hop to rock, whatever. And your favourite example of an artist that does one thing well, where a detractor of that person or that band would say, I don't like them, they always do the same thing, all their albums sound the same, like AC/DC. But you know different. You know those albums are solid gold. And they're solid gold because the artist just knows how to do that one thing to perfection. 2 examples down below. Over and